Hey guys, welcome. It's Emma from Empowerment to You, and I am live. Oh wait, hang on. Two devices. Apparently, I have to rotate my phone because that's what you do. But I can only hold one. So, I'm going to start this 14-day challenge. 14 days. Get sorted, right? Stay on top of your health physically, mentally, whether you're in isolation or not, whether you're still working. I hope you are, and I hope you've got something to look forward to. If you're in isolation, well, time can be boring, and there's probably only so much Netflix that you can watch before you kind of get sick and tired of it. At least I would. So this is to give you something to look forward to and something to do. So whether it's a physical activity, there will be physical activities involved, right? You do not need equipment to do this. That is the major key. Main focus point is that you do not need equipment. I don't want you to be dependent on equipment. If you have equipment, that is fantastic. If you don't, it's okay. So, no excuse to not stay, or at least intend to stay, in the best possible physical health and mental health as possible. As we all know, isolation can be a killer, right? Just for yourself, the fact that you're not in contact with friends and family, right? That we actually miss out on the dopamine, on the serotonin, right? The hit that we all get when we actually hug and when we spend time with our friends and loved ones, the oxytocin as well. So we want to make sure that we promote health in all aspects. Of course, this includes, washing your hands and all the sanitization and all the things that are being recommended from a medical standpoint. Absolutely keep doing that. So, guys, to start off with, well, what's this 14-day challenge? Well, it's going to start with a 14-day challenge, and chances are it may extend to after that, because who knows how long this is going to take. The aim of this, like I said, is to keep you mentally and physically in the best possible shape. That means addressing all the BS, all the crap, all the fear, all the anxiety, all the nervousness, all of that goes on, right? And the 14-day challenge from me to you is to also, that's why I'm sitting outside, is to hold myself accountable, right? Not just blab about I have all these great intentions and ideas and then never follow through. No, I'm actually going to do something, right? I can control what I do for at least some part of the day, regardless of any outside things or that happen, yes or no. Also, the lives will be at different times, so they won't always be at this time. They may be a little bit early, maybe a little bit later. So I will do my best to be as consistent as possible and to let you know when they're going to be. Just bear with me a little bit on that one. Flexibility, right? Flexibility is key. So, first of all, health. Well, we've all heard, you need to wash your hands, social distancing, all of those, the buzzwords at the moment. And while they're absolutely important, I totally agree. We also agree that, like I said, isolation can be tough, right? I mean, people losing their jobs, let's face it, people are crunching numbers now. And who knows what will happen and how it will go the next couple of weeks. So, despite that, it would be, hey Jen, it would be really, really good not to fall into that trap of that continual sense of isolation, in that fear, right? From an immune perspective, that's not a good thing. So what do we need to do? Well, first we need to understand that health comes in multiple ways, and obviously we've got the physical health, so the hygiene, all of that, but we've also got the mental health and the internal health as well. So some things that's going to be really something that's going to be really important is to actually understand what happens when we continuously bombard our nervous system, ourselves, with messages that are less than ideal, and that really respond or invoke a lot of negative fear-based responses. So the fight or flight, if you will. And fight or flight, long-term wise, not a good thing. So short-term wise, right, it's meant to help us. The classic example is the saber-toothed tiger, right? In caveman experiences, when you were chased by something and it was either you were going to be eaten or you had to run like hell and you'd live to another day. Well, those were the two choices. Now, while nowadays we may not have a physical saber-toothed tiger chasing us, we do have it in many other shapes or forms. So one of those things is, for instance, in the messages that we get, right? We get bombarded by what's going on right now, right? With the CV-19. I should really come up with a different name for that, but you know, again, people losing their jobs and the stress, the financial stress, right? The stress of you may need to be in isolation, you may not need to be in isolation, right? You've got family, friends to look after, to care for, businesses to run, jobs, all of this other stuff. Now, we can all agree that that adds stress regardless. So it can start impacting your sleep, right? Cortisol levels will go up through the roof, and long-term wise, that is not conducive. Now, how do I know all this? Well, as some of you may know, some of you may not know, I come from a physiotherapy background, love my sports, have a lot of experience in sports as well, and had the privilege of working with a number of very, very high-profile disciplinarians in their particular fields, and that include exercise physiology, that include psychology, as well as from an NLP and neuroscience perspective. So one thing is key to understand that we really, really need to do is we need to minimize our, what they call, sympathetic nervous system activity or influx. So sympathetic nervous system, SNS, stands for, think of S for stress. So the more stressed you are, the more your sympathetic nervous system goes into overdrive. And when it goes into overdrive, it starts affecting your sleep, it starts affecting your concentration, it'll start affecting your gut-brain response. So in other words, your ability to process food, to absorb food, but also from a hormonal level will have a negative impact. That's not good, we don't want that. So how can we change that? How can we start getting a balance between sympathetic and parasympathetic? So parasympathetic, P for peace. Hey Kel, hey Francis, good to join you. Oh, hey Jules. Now it's fairly simple. There's a lot of quick things out there that can be done. The most important and probably the most effective is to change your breathing. So what happens is when we start getting stressed, right, and we get an increased level of cortisol, and you typically don't sleep very well, and it will start to affect your appetite. You'll start craving the high sugars or the processed carbohydrates, right, and then you just get into a repetitive cycle. We don't want that. Is to get yourself out of that. Now, one of the ways to do that, while all the hecticness and the craziness is going on, you can squeeze in 2 minutes. 1, 2. If you've got time, you can squeeze in 4 minutes, maybe 5 minutes. And I don't even care if you don't do it 5 minutes consecutively, right? It doesn't matter, but something, just something. What we want to do is we want to get you out of that. And when you start doing what they call resonance breathing, it's got many different names. You can feel free to look it up. It's where you start breathing in over the course of 5 seconds and breathe out over the course of 5 seconds. You don't need to breathe in any deeper or more shallow. You just need to breathe. Just breathe. It's not even diaphragm breathing. It's not yoga breathing. It's just breathing. Right now, I don't care how you breathe. The only thing that I'm going to ask you to do is when you do this, especially on the breathing in, ideally, if you can, breathe in through your nose. If you can. And if you can breathe out through your nose, that'd be great. If you can't breathe out through your nose, do whatever you can. Hey Nell, sorry, I only saw the comment just now, Jill, sorry. So when you do this, that means per 10 seconds it's 1 breath. That means in a minute it's how many? 6 breaths, right? So what starts to happen after about 2 to 3 minutes, your heart frequency and your brain frequency starts to match, which is a good thing. And that's when you start getting a transition from your sympathetic nervous system going into your parasympathetic nervous system, which is what we want. Now, the good news is that when you do this, if you're able to do it for 5 minutes, great. If you can only do it for a minute, do it for a minute. If you can only do it for 30 seconds, do it for 30 seconds, right? Whatever you can do. You'll find that the more you start doing this, the easier it will become. And according to heart math, when you do this for about 5 minutes, the effects of that last several hours, which is great, because equally A minute of stress, of high cortisol and adrenaline release, will last you hours before that actually gets out of your system. So can you only imagine what will happen when you listen to this, when you're stressed for like 5 minutes, right? 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, right? Not good, not good. So that's one. Start doing that, right? In the morning, during the day, there's no limit in terms of how often and how many you can do this. Do it as much as you can. 5 seconds to breathe in, 5 seconds to breathe out. All you need to do is count. Have a watch, just count, guys. Pretty simple. That's one. Two. All right, the challenge. Well, we've got exercises. So we're going to do a combination of some physical exercises that no matter where, if you've got a particular injury or not, all right, this has got nothing to do with whether or not you're trained, whether you're a gym junkie or an elite athlete, No, it's all about just getting you to do something, because here's what happens. The moment you physically start doing something, your heart rate increases, right? Your nervous system gets kicked into gear, and it's really hard to feel physically and mentally crappy, so to speak, while you're doing exercise, because you're getting the release of the dopamine, which is what you want, right? But in a good way, not because you're looking at your phone and getting a message and go, ooh, bing, right, and you get the dopamine hit, right? That's artificial, and that's actually bypassing the system. No, we want the actual thing. So we've got a couple exercises. Seriously, guys, it's not going to take you anything longer than about 60 seconds to 2 minutes. And if you want to do more of it, you do more of it. You want to do less, you do less, right? That's the deal. So it's just to give you some ideas on something that's really simple, quick, that you can do, that's going to get you from a state of sitting or anxiety or stress or whatever that may be into doing something. So we're going to start installing a pattern interrupt, right? Alright, I'm going to start setting some goals. Now, if I had a glass bowl and I could look into the future, I'd tell you everything that I could. I don't, unfortunately. But I can do this. I can start making a small goal for the day, right? Or for the next 7 days, or for the next 2 weeks, right? There's no right or wrong with this. Just have something. For me, I'm actually going to use this to make sure that I physically stay as healthy as possible. Now, for me, right, obviously the gyms are closed, so I can't go out and get a body scan done, or I wouldn't even know what the last one would say. It's been so long ago. But here's what I can do. I can actually make sure that I look after my physical health, and that one of those pairs of jeans or shorts that I've been wearing feels a little looser, right? As an example, right? If you need to get a tape measure out, get a tape measure out, right? Do some measurements, right? Stand on the scale, right? If that's your thing, do that by all means. Different ways in how you can measure some kind of progress, right? Whether it's ideally would be objective, but hey, we live in some interesting times, so if it needs to be subjective, it's subjective, right? It's better than nothing at all. So have a goal, and we'll go through different types of goals. Could be a health goal, could be a financial goal, could be hey, you know what, I just want to complete 8 hours of work, or 4 hours of work, or make a great meal for my family, or call my friends, or catch up on some, I don't know, something. Doesn't have to be the world's biggest goal here. Just something that's going to get you focused for the day with a real specific intent. The other thing that happens is when you do that, right, when you have an intent and there's an emotion attached to it, every emotion has a vibration. And I would encourage you to look him up. Royal Raymond Rife, right? The guy was a bloody genius. He's actually the first guy that invented the modern day microscope. So this is going back to the 30s, 40s, 60s. I forget the 50s there, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. And he did a lot of work on frequency. Now, you may not have heard of any of his work. Essentially, what he discovered is that everything has a particular vibration. So from every bacteria to every virus to every cell in our body, depending on the type of cell, it all has a vibration. Now that includes when there's different emotions, or when you think about different emotions, same thing. It has a vibration. So what we want to do is my goal is to sleep. I love it, Jules. I'm sure you will. Denzel, go sleep. So when we get very clear on that and we actually set an expectation or an intent, right, chances are is that our vibration is going to go up, and now we've got something to go for, right? We've got something that we're working towards rather than moving away from something in a negative way. So we're going to be doing a goal, and I'll elaborate on what my goal will be. And like I said, it does not need to be the world's biggest ever goal. Just something small will do, right? Again, it's a 14-day challenge. It's just to make sure that we stay as healthy as possible. All right, last but not least, we all love a good laugh. I know I do. And it's in times like this that I think laughing, and even if it is for just a handful of seconds, is great. All right, it could do the world of good, right? Just a bit of release, physical release, would be fantastic. So I'm going to add something to the post, or put something up relatively shortly after this post that is funny. Now you can share it, you can like it, right? Tag friends, family, anyone else that you think would benefit of a 14-day challenge, right? Again, it's a 14-day challenge with your health in mind, not just your physical health, your mental health, right? Something to look forward to, right? Especially with what's going on. So 14 days, it'll start tomorrow. Everyone, 14 days. Tag some people, and let's make it fun. Let's make it interactive. Let's actually make sure it's valuable and we all learn something from it. Because at the end of the day, right, we are literally all in this together. But I want to leave you with this. Super cliche. I apologize for that. After the rain, there's always sunshine, or at least some kind of shine. And I want you to keep that in mind, right? No matter what's happening, no matter what's going on, with all the crap, not pleasant news, there is always an opportunity. Always. It may not be the opportunity that you're looking for, but there is always an opportunity, and there are always opportunities. So I'm going to put it out there. If you want to have a chat, or you need to reach out, or whatever that may be, message me, right? Call me, text me, whatever you need to do. Get in touch with me, and I will make sure that or if you have any questions, right, post them in there, or ideas that things that you want me to address, post them in there, and I will do my very best to make sure that I get to them. And again, so that we can deliver some high value and actually get something out of currently. So sorry. That's my challenge. I'm looking forward to it. 14 days starting now, and actually just putting it out there for me. My next challenge, like I said, is that pair of shorts going to feel a little bit looser. And I know the one thing for me is that whenever I physically do activity, right, pretty much a very quick change that happens is when I physically do exercise, that I actually start to mentally feel a lot better as well. And it helps me get into a sense of flow, which I always get my best ideas. I always feel the most confident, determined, focused when I'm in that state. So that's what it does for me. I hope it does the same for you, or at least give you something to look forward to in a really positive sense. So guys, we're all in this together, and you know what? We got this. We got this. So thank you very much for listening to my rant and my setup for the 14 days. And I look forward to connecting with more people, and just, you know what, a message of hope, inspiration, but also let's make sure that we still enjoy and remember how to have a good laugh. Okay, cool guys, thank you very much. Have an awesome day. After yourself, be healthy, be safe, and look forward to catching you on the flip side. Bye.